Hello everyone, it is Tuesday night and that means welcome back to APPF1 at Tier 2. We're here for round number 6 of this 9-round season and we're here in Jeddah for the Human Rights Grand Prix today. 19 cars on the grid, you absolutely love to see it. But we will get quickly underway with qualifying. We had a sprint race last time out in Silverstone, which was won by none other than Extrek. He won both the sprint and the main race and now leads the championship by 15 points over Enchiladadad, his close rival for all of these last 4 seasons. Jackalacco had a similar poor day in Silverstone. Both Ench and Jacko really messed up their qualifying for the main race, and they lost out on a lot of points as a result. So Extract with a healthy lead in the Drivers' Championship now, but the Constructors is a whole different story. Mercedes on 101 points, but Ferrari just 2 points behind. Williams just 8 points behind the Mercedes duo. Aston Martin only 14 points behind, and Alpine 22. It is 5 teams well and truly in the fight for that top spot in the Constructors. If McLaren can find a fantastic result or two, they might be drag themselves into the fight as well. But for now, it is those 5 teams I think are the main protagonists of the Constructors title. And any of them could win. Of course, Mercedes defending champions. Ferrari, they've been second place the last 3 seasons, that duo. Williams, the dark horses of Cavlis and Tricu, on incredible form at the moment. Aston Martin, Jacko and Scott. If Scott can find his form like he did last week, then they could well be in it as well. And Alpine finding form as well last week. So let's see, though, a lap of Jeddah from Gary into turn 1, down the gears into almost 4th gear as he went through turns 1 and 2, but eventually shifts down to 3rd and gets on the power for the rest of the lap. So through turn 3 he goes, a little bit wide. He won't be too pleased with that, but it's not too bad from Gary as he heads through the rest of sector 1. Very tricky sector. You can lose so much time through this first sector. Very high speed, as is most of this track. Gary, though, into the next corner. The long hairpin at the start of sector 2. Nicely done from the Kicksauber driver, the ever-improving Kicksauber driver, as he heads now to another tricky set of corners. I think he was a bit slow through there. He just wanted to get through. He just wants to get a lap on the board. He'll have DRS open now down towards turn 21 and 22. Here we go, down the brakes at the brake marker board at the top. And through he goes, very wide of the apex of 21, but got 22 very nicely. So he will have lost some time there, but a bit of a scrappy lap from Gary. Just wants to get it across the line. He's already well out of ERS, so he's got to keep an eye on that for the next time he does his qualifying lap. Round the final hairpin and all the way down and to the line for Gary. It is going to be a 1 minute 29.5 to set us off. I think that will be swiftly beaten. Sumo not far off, 700ths of a second, but Jammy Dodger, there we go, blows it out the water. 29.2, but I'm expecting a lot faster than that. Triku Bidayak, 29.1. He's back on the grid after unfortunately having to miss last week in Silverstone, which is great to see. We've got the Ferrari of Tier down in P5. This Mercedes, I think this is Extract coming across the line. It is for a 29.141. He is 200ths behind the Czech driver in the Williams. So the championship leader's going to have to do better than that. Enchilada down in 4th as well, a long way behind, 2/10 down on the pole position time. This is a track that can really have a lot of separation, more than usual, between the top drivers and the drivers in the midfield. We've got JB and Lawrence going P5 and 6. Kurt a long way down on the pace at the moment. We'll see if he can improve that as the session goes on. Jackalacco also down, but he is going again. For sure in that Aston Martin. Aces comes to the line then in his Alpine and goes to pole position. A 29.011 from Aces is quite quite something indeed. Alex G goes to P11, but what a time that is from Aces. He really showed his worth last time we came to Jeddah in Tier 2 a couple of seasons ago. But today we'll see what else he can do. Of course, he's been on poor form recently. He got a great result last week, but you know, he's a far cry from those days where he narrowly missed out in pole position around this circuit a couple seasons ago. But at the moment, he is looking well up there as Jack Alacco gets loose on the rears. Hello to Harris in the chat. Good to see you. As the Scottish driver, the Season 10 champion, comes through the middle sector. Now turns 21 and 22. 5 seconds up, of course, on his previous failed attempt. As now he comes to the last sector. It's essentially 2 braking zones. The first one we've already seen, and now to the second one. This hairpin can be tough to get right, this hairpin, as Jacko is wide of the apex, quite significantly so. So I don't know how much time that will have lost him, but he comes up to the line. He's already used all his ERS, so that's going to be a problem for him. It's not too much of a problem, though. He goes to pole at the 28.9, the first one to get under 1 minute 29 seconds. That is a stunning opening lap from Jack Alacco. Denko coming through as well, but he's got a V-carb just ahead. I think that's Prime Evil who's costing him some time. He's going to get a nice slipstream, but he definitely lost time in the last corner there. No matter, though, for the Greek driver, who is on a resurgence in form, up to 5th place. He'll be delighted with that, even with the blocking at the end of his lap. Prime Evil heading through the first sector himself now, as Kurt is improving, but he's going to need a lot more than 3/10 as he comes into the middle sector now, a little loose on the rear there through those corners. We've got Denko fans in the chat once again, and he is doing great today at the moment. Denko up there in P5, just 800ths behind his teammate, as Kurt now 6/10 up. He still needs more than that. The few corners to go for the V-carb driver. Can he get himself out of P16 and up further up the field? We'll see as he approaches the final corner. I think we've got Robsu coming across the line as well. He is going for another lap. So what can the Finnish driver do? He's across the line for P12. He's been struggling with quali for a long time, Robsu, but that's not bad at all. Kurt then across the line. Is it a big improvement? It is. It's enough to get him ahead of Tier up into the top 15. But he still needs quite a few more tenths to get himself further up the field. Alex G not far ahead, but then it's a big gap to Sumo and everyone else ahead. So top 13 a long way clear at the moment of the bottom 2. What can Prime Evil do in the other V-carb? Comes across the line now with the DRS, and it's a 30.7. He's a long way off as well. Avenir on an outlap. Cavalis on an outlap as well. What an impressive week he had last week. P2 in both one-shot qualifying sessions. P2 in the sprint as well, and then I think it was 4th or 5th in the race. Excellent result for Cavalis, just when Williams needed it with Triku not being able to make it to the race. So Cavalis needed to step up, and he absolutely did, with possibly his best performance in his APP career over a whole night's worth of racing. He's coming through Sector 1 now, is the Lithuanian. We'll check back on him later in the lap to see if he's improving at all. But for now, we've got others. Scott coming across. He's 6/10 down on pole at the moment. See what he can do. Jamie Dodger hasn't validated, so nothing from him for now, as Gary begins his next attempt. Robsu's going to be heading into the pits as Sumo comes across to start his next try as well. We've got Tier 2.5 tenths up through the first sector. See if he can get more. Scott's binned it. Scott has binned it. And it's a disaster for the man who got 2nd place last week in Silverstone. Where's he binned it? I think he's gotten on that curb and gone straight on perhaps, or maybe he's lost the rear through the corner. I don't know. But he will be taking no further part in this qualifying soon. He's coming through the final corner now. That was an Alpine coming across just now, as it was Lawrence or Aces, one of the two. Scott with a solid play for driver of the day, says Daka in the chat. As Cavalis goes to P8. Great effort from the Lithuanian. What can Tier, though, do? Can he improve? He's improving by half a second. Can he get any more? Yes, he can. He's up to P12, and he's well on the pace now again, but he's still further down than he would have liked, I would have thought. Enchilada, though, 4/10 up in the first sector. What a first sector that is from the Irishman, but he looked very shaky there through that chicane. And that's almost certainly going to cost him quite a bit of time. It's always difficult when you've got such a massive green delta to keep the focus. But he's still up by 4/10 even with that mistake. So he'll be very confident he can improve further. Sumo splits the Mercedes and goes to P5. But we're watching the defending champion here. He's 15 points behind in the championship. He desperately needs a big result here. As he comes across the line, Triku Bediak, though, at 28.6 from the Williams driver. Here comes Enchilada round the final corner. There's an Aston Martin Jacko starting a lap ahead. Enchilada is a 10th.5 down on that lap from Triku. It would have been pole, but for that astonishing effort from the Czech driver. Triku absolutely here to play for pole today. Extrek on an out lap at the moment. We've got several others on laps. Cavalis is on an in lap right now, I believe. We've got the other Ferrari of Tier, but he's on an in lap too. So what about Denko? He's coming through the first sector right now in his Mercedes. I was looking at the wrong Mercedes on the mini-map, but we'll just see what his first sector time is before we cut away. Denko he's 8,000th slower, so he's basically on par with his previous effort. What about Jack Alacco? He's coming through the middle sector. There's others, though, closer to the line. I'm not sure if any of them are on laps. Gary might be, but no, he's not improving. So we will ride on board with Trick, who's already done. Avenir, maybe? Is Avenir on a lap? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Maybe he is, though. He's, oh my goodness, all the way up to the wall. He's a long way down on the pace at the moment, but he can find some more time. He's got a lovely slipstream from the Williams ahead of Triku Bediak. As he comes around the final corner, Primeval saying he could get a penalty for quali blocking in the chat. Yeah, we did see that on the stream, unfortunately for you, Primeval, but it's up to Denko if he wants to report it. Who's this coming through? Extract 2.5 up is the championship leader. What about Denko across the line? It's huge from the Greek. Second place for Denko at 28.7. Huge lap time from him. Enchilada into the pits. No improvement from him at this point. What about Extract? He's in the middle sector at the moment, coming towards the end of it. There's a Red Bull of Jammy Dodger coming across the line to start his final run. 5 minutes to go in the session. Extract 2.5 up still, but it's nowhere near enough to get himself into the top 3 even. He can get himself definitely on the second row, but Enchilada is quite a way away. He needs to find a bit more time in this final sector, but he's got no ERS left whatsoever, the Norwegian. He's going to lose a ton of time compared to some of his competitors down the final straight, out the hairpin. What's it going to be on the clock, though? It's looking pretty good. It's incredibly good. An insane final sector from the championship leader, He goes to pole position at 28.4 is absolutely outrageous. Jammy Dodger coming through the middle sector as well. He was on pole earlier in the session. He nearly invalidates there, gets all over the curb. I don't know how on earth that lap is still valid, but he's coming through the middle sector. Towards the end of it, he's kept it together, and it is just 0.5 up, so not a big improvement at all for now for the Red Bull driver, but that's going to take some beating from Extract. Triku's lap looked already very strong, but that is incredibly strong from Extract. Aces versus Kings, though. I don't know if he's starting a lap. I think he is. I think he's went for a second out lap or messed up his previous attempt. We've got others coming through. Kurt, as he comes through the first sector, what can he do? The British driver 0.2 up in the first sector, and he'll definitely be looking to get his way past Alex G on the grid, and maybe even further if he can get a few more tenths. But Alex is on a lap himself. He's in the middle sector. The Ukrainian driver coming to the sector line now. He's about 0.5 up as well. So Kurt needs a bit more. What's his second sector going to be like as he comes across that line? He's 2.5 tenths up, so Kurt definitely looking to challenge Alex for P16, but he's very wide at turn 22. That would have cost him a huge amount of time as Alex G now through the final corner and down towards the line. He is going to close out the lap, but is it an improvement? Yes, it is a massive improvement. It was a huge final sector from the Ukrainian. He goes to P9 out of nowhere. Kurt, though, we saw him make that mistake in the final sector, and yeah, it's cost him some time. And he remains in 17th. Primeval not improving. Avenir has invalidated already, so nothing from those guys towards the rear end of the field, as Tier now in the middle sector. What about Aces versus Kings? He's coming around the final corner, but no, he's going again. 2.5 minutes to go. He knows there's not enough time to get in the pits, so he's going once again, Aces. PSG are beating Arsenal, and Rick's not very happy. But Jammy Dodger into the pits. No improvement for him, and I think that's his session done. He's not got enough time to go out again. Alex G's invalidated. Tier through the final corner. 3.5 tenths up for the Ferrari driver. He really needs this. He needs to be up with his teammate, because the Mercedes are very, very strong here at the moment. He comes across the line. He's up to P9. It's a little better, but he did lose time in the final sector. Aces invalidates. Triku coming through for his what should be his final run, unless he can go again on the same set of tyres. He's coming through the middle sector. We're going to have a look and see what the split time is. There's several other drivers coming across the line. I just want to ride on board with Triku for now. Sector line is coming up soon on this straight. DRS open for the Williams driver. Here it comes. What's it going to be? 2 tenths up. It's exactly the amount he needs to beat Extrek. 2.217. He comes now to the final corner. That looked pretty good through 21 and 22. Triku now. A huge chance to snatch pole position away from Extrek, who's stuck in the pits. No more improvement from the Norwegian, so it's all going to be about whether Triku can take this away. Denko's on a lap as well. Here comes the Williams driver across the line. It's not quite enough. He misses out by 7 thousandths of a second. He still cannot get that first pole position in APPF1, no matter how hard he tries. It's just every time so close. Denko, a huge mistake through Sector 1, so I don't think he's going to improve. Enchilada starting his final run. Jackalacco as well. There's others coming across the line, though. It's going to be Robsu first, but he's starting a lap. Who else? Is that Cavalis? Yes, it is, through the final corner. So he's going to be the last one to set a lap by the looks of things. JB is going to be next across the line, though. He's currently a long way down, is the McLaren driver, who was tipped one of the contenders for the title last season. He's fallen off a bit this season, sadly for him. But he comes to the line now, JB. It's a huge improvement to P7 for the McLaren. There's other drivers further down as well. Tears invalidated. Nothing from him. What about Sumo, though? He's into the pits. Nothing from him either. The round 1 race winner, Sumo. It's been downhill from there. And today it's P9 at best. And with Cavalis on a lap and others, it could get worse for him. Maybe Lawrence could even out-qualify him in the Alpine. Avenir coming to the line. It's not quite an improvement from him in the end. He stays in last. Kurt into the pits. There's Primeval coming through. There's a Red Bull of Jammy Dodger. No improvement for him. What about the Williams of... the Alpine of Lawrence. P7. He beats Sumo. He beats Sumo in quali. Aces has messed up his lap again, so nothing from him. Enchilada at only P3 is the best he can do. Who else is on a lap right now? Not JB, not yes, Cavalis actually half a second up. It's the Lithuanian. 1 corner to go for the Williams driver. There's a driver going slow out the final corner ahead, so I think Cavalis is going to end off this qualifying session round the final corner. What can Cavalis do? Can he get near his teammate to the second row? No, he just misses out, but he gets P5. It's a massive result for Williams. Double top 5 qualifying result. And the Mercedes as well, 1 and 4, with Tier down in 12th. It's going to be an uphill struggle for Ferrari, but it's a huge opportunity for Mercedes. It's another pole position for Extrek, but Wow, he was pushed very, very close by Triku Badayak, who still, I don't know how he hasn't got a pole position in the league yet, but the wait goes on. 7 thousandths of a second. JB is taking his time. 7 thousandths couldn't reproduce that result if you tried. Yeah, yeah. It is a hair's breadth practically across the line. Primeval saying you ran out of fuel in the last corner. Well, you're not alone. Avenir also ran out of fuel. And he lost 1.5 seconds, he says in the chat, Avenir, in the third sector. Wow. So some good pace, though. It's encouraging for you, Avenir. You might be able to live with the pack ahead with that sort of pace. But looks like we're getting a black screen instead of being able to go over the results, so apologies for that. The F1 games are very well made, as we all know. But we will head straight to the race. So it's looking dry. And you may think, well, of course it is. It's Jeddah. It has rained before at this circuit in APPF1. It has done. Tier 1 last time out. Was it last time out or the time before? I'm not sure, but fairly recently in Tier 1, it did rain on this circuit. It didn't rain a lot, but it did. It was enough to go on the inters. So it can happen. It's very rare, but it can happen. But it looks like today we've got all dry weather. If it rains in Elite, I might smash my PS5. Here we go then. 3, 4, 5. Red lights. And we're underway for the Human Rights Grand Prix in Tier 2. It's a fantastic start off the line for Extrac. And he covers off Triku, but he loses the rear. No, he's lagging. He's lagging all over the place. No one knows where he is. Triku went through him, but that was very dangerous through turn 1. But he retains the lead as a result. Enchilada loses the rear. And Jacalaco's trying to go around the outside of his championship rival at turn 3. What a move from the Scottish driver. Absolutely phenomenal from Jacalaco. Incredible stuff from him. We've got most of the grid starting on mediums, a few on hards, Scott starting on softs, why not? But we've got 2 positions gained for Cavalis, Jacko, and then 3 positions gained for Scott on those softs, and 3 positions down for Alex G, and 2 down for Ench, Denko, and Lawrence. Poor starts for those 4. But everyone else either staying put or gaining a position. Extrac already 1.2 seconds up the road, and I think that is going to be the theme of today. But Cavalis up to P3 as well. What a start for him, and what a start for the Williams pair. 2 and 3 off the start of this Human Rights Grand Prix. But Extrac, I think, is going to be a long way up the road, but we'll see what happens here. We've got yellow flags. Primeval's out the race, and we've got a virtual safety car early on. Primeval has binned it by the looks of things at turn 21. Not sure whether there was contact or something else happened there, but that is Primeval. Unfortunately, his race coming to a very abrupt end on lap 1, and his VSC is going to see us calmly into the second lap of the race. Scott into the pits already. That is presumably for the hards to the end. He wants to get the undercut with the VSC. And why not? He's had a poor qualifying, so he's thought, right, might as well risk it. He's actually gone on the mediums, even more of a risk. I'm going to put tyres on the screen. So we'll see how he does on those, but that's a long way to take the medium tyres. They will do it. But, you know, Scott is no stranger to taking tyres a long way after last week. 26 laps out of 26 on the same set of intermediates is what he did last week. So he's no stranger to it, that's for sure. As we've got green flags again, and Triku is back in DRS range of Xtrek. It's been a horrible restart for Xtrek. Triku now 4 tenths behind, and then Cavalis 7 tenths behind him. But Jacko tried to get the jump on the Lithuanian at the restart. He couldn't quite do it, and now he's under pressure from his championship rival. Enchiladadad looking to the inside for an Oscar Piastri move, but he doesn't quite get it done. He's going to have to sit behind. And they all just harvest their ERS and stay behind for now. But Triku Bediak now, after it looked like Xtrek might run away with this race, suddenly Triku, thanks to the VSC, he got the restart absolutely perfectly, and he's now right behind the championship leader. As the Williams pair look to put a foothold on the constructors if it ended, the race ended like this. They'd have a huge points gain for this one. But at the moment, Triku happy to sit behind Xtrek, or is he? Yes, he is. He's just going to sit behind the Mercedes for now. He trusts himself to be able to stay with him on pure pace. Xtrek gaining a bit out of turn 2 as JB makes a move on Jammy Dodger. There's front wings flying off. Not sure what's happened there, but I can see Aces is round, and Avenir as well losing quite a bit of time. I'm not sure what's happened at turns 1 and 2, but disaster for Aces, whatever it was. And Jammy Dodger losing the place to Lawrence, who's now 1.5 behind. Oh, it's Lawrence who's got no front left end plate. There we go. Damage to the two-time Tier 2 champion's car as Denko's lagged again. We saw this in Canada a couple seasons ago. Was it last season? I think it was. Where he was leading the race and then he just teleported back 10 positions. And then it was a tough recovery from there. But now he is well down again. It's happened again to Denko. Can this man catch a break, honestly? As now Jammy Dodger under pressure from Sumo Gilligan, but he can't quite get the move done. Ace has lost the rears, says Rick in chat. Thank you for that info, Rick. Good to know. And Sumo tries to put the Red Bull under pressure, but he loses his momentum through turn 22. And now he's got Tier for company in the Ferrari on those hard tyres. As, oh, I've disconnected. That is really annoying. Or have I disconnected? I must have disconnected. Yeah, I've disconnected. Okay, let me see what I can do about this. This also happened to me last Friday, so yeah, something's really badly wrong with my Wi-Fi, and I don't know what to do about it. Apologies, everyone. Please bear with me. But yeah, that is 2 disconnects in 1 week, which is not a good sign at all. My Wi-Fi's steadily been getting worse and worse and worse over the last few months, and I think it's reaching a critical point now. I'm trying to get back in. Bear with me, everyone. I do apologize. All right, here we are. Let's get back in as soon as we can. Apologies again, everyone. Looks like Denko disconnected as well, so I wasn't the only one. But yeah, there we go. We're back in by the looks of things. Let's get everything enabled on my screen again. And hopefully that is the last we have to see of a disconnect from me. But while we were gone, Sumo getting past Lawrence around the final corner. Tier getting past Cavalis as well as he disconnected. It looks like he has. Yeah, he definitely has. So we've had a few disconnects there. Very unstable lobby by the looks of things, sadly, as disaster for in particular Cavalis. What a race he was having. That's such a shame. But Extract still leads this one, but now it's a 2-second gap between the top two and everyone else. Triku sticking with the race leader, but Jack Alako 2 seconds behind. Enchilada sticking with his championship rival as well for that podium position, as JB's in the mix as well. What a performance this is so far from the McLaren driver, as he's 4 positions up from the start. We've got Sumo again going around the outside of Lawrence at the hairpin, and he gets it done. Now Tears putting Lawrence under pressure. Of course, Lawrence with the front wing damage. That's not going to help his cause, as Denko has retired from the session. That is a disconnect from him again, and I am absolutely gutted for him, because what a qualifying he's had there. And that is a very cruel way for his race to end. And Denko's wondering what's going on. Yeah, me too, mate. But we've got to focus on the race while we can. Yeah, Cavalis is disconnected as well, so I'm just going to let him know in the chat. As Enchilada, meanwhile, makes his way past Jack Alako for P3, and Denko is same answer that I gave to Cavalis. It's not everyone else that's disconnected. When you see everyone disconnecting one by one, you've disconnected. It's not everyone else. But anyway, Alex G gets the move done on Kurt for P12. Lovely move from the Haas driver. As Kurt now looking at the back of that Haas. Oh, what's happened to Lawrence? He's gone round in Sector 1 out of turn 5 by the looks of things, I think. And now he's very deep through the next corner, struggling. I think there's more front wing damage on that Alpine. Disaster for Lawrence after such a good start for the Alpine driver. He's going to be devastated with that. We'll see what he can do, as Triku now has lost DRS to Extrek. He hasn't quite been able to stick with him on this lap, and I think that is going to be game over until we get another safety car in this one. I doubt that Triku can get himself back in range, as the detection point has already gone. He was already behind. Extrek's not got a lot of ERS left, but he's managing it well. Can Triku get in range? The detection point's past the final hairpin. It's 1.09 tenths. Can he stay there through the final corner? Back to 8 tenths again, and it's lovely from Triku. A great line through the final corner, gets him the DRS and keeps him in range, but he's going to be in a world of trouble now over the next lap, as Extract sets the fastest lap just to compound that difference, as now Robsu getting past here, but he's going to be vulnerable to the DRS. Another pass for P3. They're just swapping the two championship rivals for that position. It's nearly 3 wide into turn 1 further back. Jammy, Dodger and Tia side by side. Jammy around the outside of the Ferrari. Oh, he gets a bit wide, and Tia trying to go around the outside, but he has to back out of that one, as does Gary just behind. But a great little battle between these 4 is brewing at the moment. Kurt and Alex have swapped again as well, as Lawrence replaces his front wing. He'll be absolutely gutted and praying for a safety car, as will Triku, I think, because he's really struggling to live with this Mercedes. He just cannot stay in DRS range. Extrek just has his number in Sector 1 by the looks of things, and then Triku catches him back up the rest of the lap, but Extrek is so much faster in that first sector that it's really tough for Triku to gain that time. 7.5 tenths as they go through turns 21 and 22. 8 tenths now is the gap, as Extrek gets another fantastic line, but it's going to be DRS for Triku, and he should be able to close back up, but he's got to really push hard to stay with the two-time champion here. As Sumo chasing after JB, Gary and Tia side by side through the final sector. Cavalis rejoins the session, but he's a long way behind now, as Lawrence has binned it again, unfortunately, in his Alpine out of that large left-hander, and he's got wing damage again. Lawrence, he is struggling big time with this circuit at the moment, unfortunately, as Jammy Dodger makes a move on Robsu. Gary into the back of the McLaren, but no harm done as they head through turns 1 and 2. A lot of swapping of positions going on, and Triku again, he loses so much time in this first sector. It's well over half a second that he loses compared to the Mercedes, and it's just, he's teetering on the edge of DRS range. And again, Xtrek gets the better line through the hairpin. The Norwegian just too strong for Triku at the moment. We've got yellow flags again. That's Lawrence again gone round at the final corner. And, well, it's not caused any kind of safety car, but Lawrence is going to be gutted, and I think that's going to be an early retirement for the two-time champion, unfortunately, and there it is. So Lawrence, no further part in this session. He's got rear wing damaged. Yeah, that explains it. Fair enough. Sumo well off the circuit at turn 21. JB the same. They both go well off circuit. As Sumo tried to make the move, he lets JB back through. He made that overtake well off track, and JB back to P5, but Sumo's going to have the DRS to the next corner. Tier now gets ahead of Gary further back as well, but he's got a 3-second time penalty for track limits already. Enchilada getting past Jacko as well as Triku now. Half a second behind Xtrek. Let's see how much bigger that gap gets. Already a 10th through turns 1 and 2. And then turn 3, I think, is where Xtrek gains everything. Yeah, look at that. It's 2/10 through that one corner for Xtrek that he gains, and then Triku is always on the back foot for the rest of the sector. A bit of a loss of the rear for Triku, and 9/10 now. He's a second behind. Look at that. And Cavalis disconnects again and is now left the session. Horrible for Cavalis. That is not what you want to see at all. It's great news for all the other constructors, of course, but of course not good for the Williams pair, and Triku now has got to do what Cavalis did last week and fly the flag for Williams. Yeah, Lawrence not happy in the chat. Me disconnecting might have caused a chain reaction. I think it was like a triple disconnect all at the same time for all three of us. I don't know why that happened, but it seems to have happened. I don't know whether that's my fault, but I'm not the lobby host, so I don't know why that would be a problem. But yeah, this game is very well coded, as you can see, and EA servers are always faultless. But carry through the chicane. Right in the back of Jammy Dodger. Ench and Jacko swapping again further up. Triku still hanging on to Xtrek by a thread. As now Gary round the outside of the Red Bull. He goes for P9. It's going to be a great move if he can pull it off. They're side by side all the way through. But what a line for Jammy Dodger. Gary didn't have the grip, and he keeps the position, does the Red Bull driver. Tier getting past Robsu as well further up, as we've got pit stops for Sumo and JB early on. They want to get the undercut. And, well, ideally they wanted to get the undercut on each other, but they've both come in at the same time, possibly JB reacting to Sumo there, as Triku again losing that time in Sector 1, but he's just about hanging on still to that Mercedes, but it's definitely an uphill struggle for Triku at this point. I think maybe he can try for an undercut, but the amount of time he's losing in Sector 1, I don't think that would even work, to be honest. But we'll see how they go through the chicanes. Triku's staying with him for now, as Jacko and Ench still locked together too for P3. Kurt and Avenir into the pits. Avenir, I think, getting a front wing change or serving a penalty or something, but he's out the pits now, as Xtrek now is under a bit more pressure from Triku than he has been in previous laps. The Williams driver got the DRS, is going to get closer and closer down to the final corner. If he gets a good line through here, Xtrek could be in trouble for that race lead. He's led every lap so far, but I think Triku's a little too far behind still, as Xtrek dives into the pits. An early stop for Xtrek. He catches Triku napping a bit, but Triku happy to stay out and lead a lap of this Human Rights Grand Prix. Jackalacko up to P2 as well as a result of that, as Ench pits 2 from P4. Xtrek onto the hards, of course, to the end, as he now exits the pit lane, but he's going to be behind Gary and in a bit of traffic here. It's coming down towards turn 1. Alex G and Aces side by side further back. Ace is getting that move done up to P6, but Xtrek is crucially ahead of both of them, and he won't be held up by this little battle that's brewing. Enchilada will, though. He's 2.5 seconds back, and he'll surely catch up pretty soon on those fresh tyres. And of course, Aces and Alex will be looking to go a bit further on their hard tyres before they pit. But Tier at the moment still holding strong. P3 at the moment, but he's a lot further down in terms of net position. Scott's only P11, by the way, after that huge undercut he did 9 laps ago. On lap 1 under the VSC. He's only in P11, so I wonder if he's going for a 2-stop, if he's going to ride this one out. It's going to be very tricky for him. I expect him to gain a lot more, to be honest, so I'm surprised. But Triku now to the last corner. Is he going to respond to Extrek's pit stop? Extrek already just behind Gary. He's going to get the DRS as well down towards the last corner and to turn 1. That's not what Triku needed at all. He is into the pits, but I think, oh, that's a horrible entry as well into the pits. Very, very cautious. And I think he's going to be well behind Extrek as a result of that now when he comes out. The Mercedes driver with the DRS onto the back of the Sauber driver. He's going to get it all the way down to turn 1, and he's going to take a very comfortable lead here, Extrek, I think. Triku just coming out the pit lane. It might be closer than I thought, but no, Extrek, yeah, he's way ahead of Triku, I think. Or is he? Oh, he's actually a lot further. He's a lot closer than I thought, Triku, that he would be. And now Extrek's going to get caught up behind Tyr. That is very much commentator having no idea what's going on. I thought he'd be well ahead given the momentum through turn 1, but no. Triku just directly behind, and he's managed to stick with the former race leader and, well, still net race leader as Extrek now just behind Tyr, who's going to give him the DRS way ahead. Yes, thank you. Thank you in the chat for drawing full attention to my inadequacy there. But Gary with a 3-second time penalty. Triku now with the DRS, but so does Extrek have it. And this is actually a disaster for Triku, given how much time he loses in Sector 1. He could well lose out massively here if Extrek can get past Tyr, which he will surely do up to the last corner. And this is not what Triku needed at all. Here comes Extrek. It's going to be a simple move to the inside of the Ferrari, and he's going to get that done. Is Crofty commentating? Never insult me like that again. As Jacko finally comes into the pits. Triku now out the final corner, but he's well behind Tyr. He's nowhere near making a move, and unless Tyr can get a move back done on Extrek, he's going for it. Tyr trying to help out his teammate in the Drivers' Championship. He goes to the inside, but Extrek's got the superior grip, and he just calmly dispatches of that challenge from the Ferrari. It's so simple for Extrek, and Tyr, he gave it his best shot, but he's really lost out there, and now so is Triku going to lose out. Tyr now is going to hold him up all the way through Sector 1. Triku gets on the curb. That is game over, surely, unless we get a safety car. He is now significantly behind Extrek, and I think that is well and truly race over for the lead, unfortunately for Triku. Just bad timing for him on the approach to Tyr. Really bad timing. He couldn't really have gotten much worse than that. Extrek, an easy, clean move through with all DRS zones, and then Triku getting stuck behind for all of Sector 1 and 2. He's finally going to get the move done here, but it's too little, too late. Unless we get a safety car, Triku gets ahead. Tyr's going to be back at him as well anyway, although gets a poor exit at 22. And Extrek now 1.8 clear. That is going to be an easy win, I think, for Extrek from this point onwards, unless we have some further drama in this race. Sumo, though, getting past his teammate. I think Alex just letting him through there. Alex still yet to pit in this race. And Sumo now up to P7, and that is a net P5 for Sumo. If he can finish there, I think he'll be quite happy with that. There's Aces and Tyr still yet to pit. Enchilada looking to make a move on Jackalacco for a net P3, but he decides against it for now. And these two championship rivals, it's 2 points in it for P3 and 4. It's quite a, you know, I know the gap to Extrek is a lot bigger than that, and they're going to lose quite a lot of points to him, both of them in this race. But I think they're going to look at Silverstone really as where they really let it go, or let it slip, because they both had very good pace there, but bottled qualifying, and they had to settle for 7th and 8th in the end, I think. And now here they're going to have to settle for 3rd and 4th, and it's going to be a 20-plus point lead for Extrek in the drivers' standings after this race. He's just too consistent for everyone else, just far too consistent. to keep the consistency week after week, and Extract just bangs in the results every single week. Other than Monaco, but Monaco is Monaco. As now Enchilada is going to swap again with Jackalacco by the looks of things, looks to the inside, down towards the hairpin, and the Irishman gets ahead, but Jacko will have the DRS unless Ench lets him through here on the exit. He does! Who has DRS? Enchilada playing perfect game there on the exit, but I don't think either of them got it. No! It was identical across the line, so no DRS for either car. And they're just going to have to stay where they are. Can I still have Driver of the Day, says Lawrence. You can have it in your heart, Lawrence. In your heart, your Driver of the Day. As Rob Sue gets past Jamie Dodger for P10. It looks like a simple move for the Finnish driver, but they're going to be battling throughout this rest of the race by the looks of things. Scott not too far behind as well, but Rob Sue is ahead. That is, I think, a net P9. It could be a net P7, depending on where Tier and Aces end up when they pit, which shouldn't be too long. Might be this lap even, as Jamie Dodger looked very shaky through Sector 1 there. Triku has closed the gap a bit, you know. It's closed up by about 6/10. I did not expect that at all, I won't lie. And, you know, he's not far off at all, but it's still a mountain to climb. I don't think Extrek is pushing all that much. And once Triku gets within range, he is going to start pushing. That's what I imagine he will do. He's got... you know, he's very tactical, Extrek, in races, very strategic, and tactical is the better word, I think. Short-term tactics, and he's very good at sort of getting the ERS management absolutely bang on, sort of playing his opponents like a fiddle on track. A lot of the time. We saw it with JB in Bahrain last season. Aces, meanwhile, getting passed by Jacko. Still no pit for the Alpine driver, and Tier stayed out as well. So Ench now has got a problem. He's stuck behind this Alpine. Aces is going to cost the Irishman quite a bit of time here. He's got to be careful. He's going to lose out to Jacko if he's not careful. And yeah, through Sector 1, he's losing the rear with the dirty air. He's now over a second behind Jacko, and he's got to get past this Alpine, but Aces is sticking with the Aston Martin. And, well, to be fair, as long as he does that, Ench is going to be okay, but as soon as Aces loses that DRS, Ench has got to get past him very, very quickly, or else Jackalacco is going to be able to waltz to P3. He's got the DRS now, but so does Aces. I don't think we're going to see a move into turn 21, but we might see one into the final corner, or maybe into turn 1, or, well, definitely on the final corner after that. A bit of driving from Ench way, way wide at turn 21. And Aces now looking to make a move instead on Jackalacco in towards the final corner, but he backs out of it. Ench gets a bit confused by the early braking from Aces, but all's absolutely fine in the end. Tier finally dives into the pit lane, but Aces stays out another lap, and here comes Ench. He's trying to get past this Alpine. He looks to the inside. Does he dive one? No, he stays behind, but he's going to lose so much time in Sector 1 unless he can get him here. A switchback out of turn 2. Can he get it done around the outside of turn 3? Enchiladad, a massive overtake this could be, and it is. Aces backs out. It's a brilliant move from Enchiladad, but he is still going to fight to stay within DRS range of Jacko. He's got to get this first sector perfect. He does so by the looks of things. 8/10, and he's in DRS range. It's brilliantly done from the defending champion, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Sumo Gilligan just behind as well. He's not out of this, and Ace is very, very sideways through the hairpin there. Sumo sweeps around his outside, and he's now into the top 5. Where did he qualify, Sumo? He was well down. Yeah, P11. So this is a fantastic recovery drive from Sumo. He's pretty much come from nowhere in this race, and he's still 1.9 seconds behind Jacko and Ench, but if they start battling, or if he has the pace, he can hunt them down, just as Triku has shockingly done to Extract. Look at this! 5/10 is the gap as Triku finally learned how to drive through Sector 1 in this race. I think he has. Extract in trouble. He's only got half his battery left. Triku sets the fastest lap. 31.4 from the Williams driver is phenomenal. And now Extract is in a lot of trouble. And Enchilada and Jacko, they swap positions, but they are going to be cheering Triku on from their cockpits, because it's going to be very, very important for them. If Extract loses those points, Triku could take 4 points away from Extract if he can win this race. And how important might that end up being in the championship if it happens? What a resilient drive this has been from Triku. Absolutely, absolutely incredible from Triku. If he, whether or not he wins this race, this is probably the drive of his APP career. I know he won in Monaco, and you know, that's a top contender. That's definitely the drive of his career so far, but this could well be up there. A 1.8 second gap to Extract after being well down in Sector 1 for the whole first stint. I don't think, you know, I didn't give him a chance. I don't think anyone in chat really gave him a chance, would have given him a chance either, given what we know about Extract. As soon as he gets a lead, he tends to pull away, especially with the pace we've seen from him in Sector 1 in this race. But it's not happening today. Triku down the inside of the final corner. Extract's going to get him back with the DRS. I think Extract just let him go there, but Triku is now well and truly back in the fight for this race win. Extract to first place again, but Triku right behind. And this is fantastic stuff from the Czech driver as Gary's out of the race, and that is a full safety car. So just after all that work that Triku has done, now it's all equalized again. After Gary has binned it, I don't quite know how he's binned it there. It was before even the final corner. I think maybe a bit of an overreaction to someone ahead, I'm not sure, but you have to feel for Triku, don't you? After all that work, he now finds himself all undone by this safety car. And you know what? Tia is in a great position. Aces is in an incredible position on the soft tyres. With this safety car, he's going to be able to nurse them to the end without too much trouble. Scott onto fresh softs, but he's got a time penalty. And Tia with 1-2. But Robsu and Aces are in brilliant positions here, but particularly Aces. I've no idea where Extract and Triku will come out if they pit. Surely they've got to pit here. There's no way they don't. It's going to be such a massive disadvantage that they'll have compared to fresh mediums if they don't pit. What are they going to do? Extract, I'm sure he's going to try and play mind games. He'll fake going in the pits and then go out and then go in again, maybe. We'll see. No, he's straight in. No mind games from Extract this time. He knows what he's got to do. Into the pits he comes. Triku follows him in. Don't get a time penalty, guys. Don't get one. There we go. They're fine. Enchilada also coming in. And crucially, Ench ahead of Jacko as the safety car comes out. So that could be important. And it's going to be fresh softs to the end for Extract. Triku going for the same thing. Fresh soft tyres. And where is Tia? He's coming around the final corner and down towards turn 1. But Extract and Triku are well ahead. So they haven't lost out to Tia, but others might, and others have done. Enchilada is behind his teammate, but Tia could cause a lot of problems here for Jackalacco. I'm actually surprised Tia didn't slow down to let Ench through there. That's what I would have done. But Ench has gone for mediums. JB has gone for mediums as well, as has Jammy Dodger. The softs don't last all too long around here, so I understand the decision, but I think that's going to be a mistake. You know what Enchilada has done there? He's put on the mediums because he's still reeling from that race where he put. I think was it him that he put on the softs at a situation just like this, and it turned out to be completely the wrong tyre, and he lost out quite significantly. because they died before the end. I think that was him, so that's why he's done what he's done for sure. Yeah, in Austria, that was it. Yeah, absolutely. So that's definitely why Ench has gone for mediums. He's still reeling from that result in Austria. But most others for softs. JB, Jammy Dodger and Robsu joining the party on the mediums, although Robsu, of course, he was on fresh tyres anyway, so he stayed out, as did Scott. But this is going to bring Alex G, Avenir, Kurt back into the race. There's only 5 laps to go at the end of this one, though. It's going to be a full-on sprint to the checkered flag. I do think the softs are the better pick if the safety car is going to be out as long as I think it might. But Extract now, well, he was in a world of trouble on those hard tyres. Triku caught all the way back up to him. So now, is the pace going to change on the softs? That's the question. Because it can do. You can have, I mean, maybe that's what was happening in the first stint. Triku just didn't like the mediums and Extract really did. And then the hards were the opposite story. So maybe the softs are going to flip the dial once again, but who knows? Sometimes it really can be as simple as tyre choice that can really hurt or help a driver. If just taking me for example for the last few games, not this one so much, but certainly 23 and 22 to a lesser extent, but definitely 23. Whenever we had a late safety car, I was always gutted because my pace was awful on the softs on most tracks in the race. The mediums and hards, it was fine. So I dreaded late safety cars in 23, and it might be a similar situation here for Triku on this circuit. Who knows? But this is going to completely equalize things. They're both going to be on full ERS bars once again. And Tia could cause some problems. I would imagine he lets Ench through. Has he got front wing damage? He does. No front right end plate, so that's going to cause even more issues for the drivers behind. The field is bunched, but I think this will turn into a duel pretty quickly. I'd have to agree, Daka. I think that's the most likely scenario because of Tia's presence and also Ench on the mediums. But Tia with a 3-second time penalty as well, but with that wing damage and those older mediums, he is going to struggle here to keep everyone behind. It might just be enough to help out the top two to pull away. Don't think the safety car is going to be in this lap because Kurt is a little way back, but we'll see. It's coming to the last corner. Kurt just coming to turn 21. It's going to be close whether we go another lap or not. I'm really not sure. It's going to be extremely close. I think it's going to come in, actually. It's coming around the last corner now. Oh, it might just be too late, actually. Kurt coming to the train, and yeah, it's just too late. So we will be going one more lap under this safety car. So one more lap under safety car. We're going to get 3 laps of green flag racing. What do you reckon, chat? Who's going to be your race winner today? Any predictions? I think X-Trek is the safe bet. But can Triku drive like a demon, like he did in that hard stint? Rick says Lightning McQueen. Gamogo says X-Trek. Daka says not Lawrence. That's a very accurate prediction. Zeki says that Denko will rise from the dead and win. I don't think he's dead. I think he's just on the sidelines. I think some of those predictions are a little more realistic than others, but we'll see what really happens here as the safety car is going to be in this lap. Here we go then. X-Trek's going to get us underway. He's historically been very, very good at safety car restarts, just as everything else that's tactical in this game. Here we go then. Down towards the final corner. Going to ride on board with Triku. Can X-Trek catch him napping? Safety car's coming into the pit so he can go anytime he likes. At the final corner they go. He's waiting a little bit longer. Triku's going to try and stay with him. He's sticking right close behind. He's waiting for X-Trek to go. X-Trek's leaving it very, very late here. And Triku, finally, X-Trek gets underway. And Triku stayed with him just about, but he's a little far behind than he would have hoped. And Jakalako's trying to get the jump on Enchiladadad. There's more drivers further back. He's 3 wide into turn 1. And Jakalako passed here, but then so does Ench. And Ench is still ahead in P3. I don't know how he managed that. What a move from Enchiladadad. But JB now getting past Sumo. Ace is down the inside of Tier at turn 3. What a move from him as well on those soft tyres. Incredible stuff from Aces to P5. Sumo's one of the drivers who's really lost out from this safety car. He's back down to P8 after that recovery to 5th. And now he's got to make up positions again. But Enchilada into P3 he goes. Sumo trying to get the jump on JB. Jammy Dodger just behind, trying to make a move as well. There's plenty of other cars side by side, wheel to wheel between Alex G and Scott, but Alex has to back out of that one, and Triku loses a ton of time to X-Trek in Sector 1, and Enchiladadad is right behind the Williams driver. Just 2.5 laps left to go in this race. X-Trek is leading the way, but Triku under heavy pressure now. The driver who was looking like he had a chance to win this race before this safety car, now under pressure for losing his P2 spot that looked guaranteed a few laps ago. Jakalako's well behind after the first 2 sectors. He's lost the DRS range. It's not going to be enabled until the next lap, but the top 3 are now well clear of everyone else. And Enchilada looks like he's getting a podium. That's Sumo! That is Sumo into the wall out the final corner. He is absolutely gutted. You can see he's just stood still there for a few seconds, just taking in the shock as Alex G, his big contact at turn 1. Alex G is round the wrong way. Avenir, I think, lost out as well as Kurt. But Alex G all the way down. It's been an absolutely disastrous opening to start to lap 24 for the Haas drivers. Kurt's now out the race. He's binned it in Sector 1. I don't know if there was contact there, but the top 3 continue to go. But Jakalako's now back in range. Triku looks like he's struggling at Sector 1 again on these soft tyres. He had it done on the hard tyres, but the softs, he is struggling a lot more. An awful, awful lap for the Haas drivers, though. Could not get much worse than that. And they will both be absolutely gutted. The safety car has ruined their races. But now Aces in the mix as well on his 6-lap-old softs. They're not that bad on that Alpine. And we know how strong he is around here. So through they go around the final sector. It's the top 5 now well clear. Tier holding up JB for P6 with his wing damage as well. So I think those top 5 are now in a league of their own as X-Trek takes us around the final corner for the penultimate time and leads us on to the final lap of the Human Rights Grand Prix. It's a fastest lap as well for X-Trek as he looks to take maximum points from this race. It's looking like he's going to do exactly that. This safety car has helped him out massively. It's huge. It's the X-Trek force field making a return from 2 seasons ago. And through Sector 1 they go. Half a second is the gap, and Triku's going to need to nail this Sector 1. X-Trek through he goes. He's absolutely perfect, and Triku loses the rear in comparison through the first few corners. Again, the gap opens up to 8/10. Triku just does not have the pace on through that first sector unless he's on the hards by the looks of things. As here they go through the hairpin. Enchilada challenging for White on this occasion, but Triku holding on. Jackalacko too far back. It's all about these top three. We can see penalties real quick. It's 3 seconds to most, but 9 to Tier and 6 to Avenir. There you go. There's your penalties. But Jacko back in the train, but I think it's too little too late for him. Here comes Triku Bidayak towards the back of Extrek, who's got plenty of ERS to spare, but he's wide through turn 21. That could cost him some time. Can Triku get him? DRS open down towards the final corner. It's going to be a grandstand finish here in Jeddah, but Triku's too far back. He's not got enough ERS. Enchilada's too far back as well. Through the final corner they go. Extrek is going to hold on to win the Human Rights Grand Prix. What a race from him. Can Triku hold on to second? He can. They go across the line, but Ench takes the fastest lap, and Jacko beats Aces in a drag race to the line by 600ths of a second to P4. The two McLarens 6 and 7 after a drag race further back as well. Scott ends up 8th. Jammy Dodger P9 with Tia in 10th. And Avenir is going to close out P11. Alex G actually, I think, might get Avenir here. No, he DNFs across the line like an idiot and loses the position as a result. As Sumo comes around the final corner now, he is going to take, he's going to take P13. Alex will still get classified, but I think he's got another thing coming if he thinks I'm going to put him ahead of Avenir. And Sumo finishes a distant P12. He is going to be absolutely gutted. Head in his hands for my former commentary partner. Oh, out of breath. Well, after he looked like he was in a lot of trouble, the safety car came to Extra-X's rescue, and he wins the Human Rights Grand Prix, but ahead of Triku Bidayak by 3/10 of a second. Enchilada takes P3 with a great drive from him as well, and the fastest lap, but it's still 5 points lost to Extra from this race, and Extra now looking like he is running away with this driver's title. Jackalacko comes home in P4, just barely ahead of Aces for that position. Robsu P6, JB in 7th with Scott taking out the top 8. Jammy Dodger P9, Tia in the top 10. Avenir takes 11th place. It's going to be Alex G in P12, Sumo in 13th, and then it's going to be Kurt finishing 2 laps down in 14th after that, classified 2 laps down after he crashed. Gary, Cavalis, Lawrence, Denko, and Primeval unable to finish. Stick around, we will have interviews with the top 3, including Triku and Ench. Driver of the day for me goes to Triku Bidayak. I'd rather say that than the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Denko. Not Denko, Daka. Wrong person with a D and K in their name. Wrong legend. All right. See if we can get some interviews with the top 3. What a race. I was really hoping for a drag race to the line for the win, but Triku just a little too low on the ERS in the end. Got Inch in, just waiting for Triku. He says he'll try. All right. Well, I'll give him a minute, but in the meantime, we will get started with our third place finisher, Enchiladadad. And with the fastest lap as well, right at the end, salvaged that point. But quite a few points dropped to Extract today. But even so, a classy drive, I think, is fair to say from you today.
Yeah, the battle for the win just got away from me at the start because when we were like, I was too far away to catch back up, and yeah, that was the main problem. But the safety car gave me another chance, but maybe another lap or two with mediums could have made a difference, but didn't happen.
Yeah, those in the chat were doubting your choice on the mediums, but I know why you did it. I know the soft.
I never know what to pick.
Yeah,
like, I feel like the last few times everyone has just conspired against me to pick the opposite of what I do. So,
well,
yeah.
I know you probably had Austria in the back of your mind as well, picking the mediums.
Yeah, and Singapore as well.
Yeah, that's true. But it turned out to be a good decision because you had incredible pace in the last lap, but just not quite to be. You couldn't quite get him, could you?
Yeah, couldn't. I was torn between like going for second or seeing if Triku could get first because that's more of a point swing. So then I just thought I'd let it be a three-way drag race at the end and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh well. The dream was having all three of you side by side across the line, but not quite.
Yeah, but I ran a VRS a bit too soon.
Nonetheless, it's still a decent points haul, certainly for the constructors. Tier, I can't remember where Tier finished, but he wasn't too bad in the end.
Yeah, him staying out was huge as well.
It was,
because
yeah.
I think Jack would have passed you on the start if he didn't.
Yeah, so. Yeah, great stuff from the Ferraris, and the constructors still very much alive. With a 20-point margin to Extract now, are you more thinking about the constructors with 4 rounds to go, or is the drivers still a possible? Sorry, 3 rounds to go, or is the drivers still something you're aiming for?
More thinking about constructors, yeah, but haven't given up on drivers. I'll say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't give up until it's mathematically impossible, really.
I guess.
There can always be a disaster. It's Portugal next week, after all. But talking of Portugal, how do you feel for that? What's your?
I feel like the only person in the world who likes Portugal.
Ah, well, that could be good then.
Yeah, the last 3 are fine, I think, but this calendar overall has been good for me. Apart from Monaco, which actually went well, so. Who knows, though?
Congratulations on another podium, and best of luck for the last 3 rounds.
Thanks.
Alright, I'll quickly read out what Extrax put. He says it was a really good race. Triku was really fast. I had to burn ERS in the first sector to pull away from him because he was slightly faster than me in the second and third. Well, that's not quite true that you had to burn ERS in the first sector, but yeah. During the safety car, I wanted to stay out, he says, but I figured most people would pit, so I decided to go in for a fresh set of softs. Probably the right decision. I managed to bring the win home in the end. It was a really fun battle. I really enjoyed racing on this track. God, can you imagine if Extract had stayed out? That would have been very interesting ending to the race. But yeah, congratulations to Extract. He now leads this title by 20 points in the drivers. The constructors still very much up for grabs by 4 or 5 teams still at this point. So many congrats. And finally, Triku, another podium for you. Congratulations, and what a way to come back after your absence last week. That's a P1 and P2 in the last 2 races for you in Tier 2. It's going very well, and the constructor's dream very much alive. How are you feeling?
Hello, I'm feeling quite good. The pace is increasing, and as you said, the main goal is the constructors. So let's see in Portugal.
Yeah, absolutely. You're doing a fantastic job at the moment. obviously that absence last week probably puts the drivers out of reach, but you know, you're kind of in the form of your career at the moment. And I wouldn't be surprised to see you on the podium a few more times. But let's talk about today a little bit, because you you were struggling to hold on to X-Trek in the first stint on the mediums, but when you came out 1.8 behind on the hards, we all thought that was it. That was race over, and X-Trek was going to win by a mile. But you came alive on those hard tires. How did that stint feel for you?
That's a hard stint. At the beginning, I want to manage the pace, being very careful not to be penalized. And at the end, I feel very comfortable, and the gap was decreasing and decreasing. And at the end, I can manage to be in the DRS, but the safety car comes out and I had to make a big decision, being out or go to a used soft. And I think that I have done the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was unfortunate you couldn't quite get the win in the end. Do you think the safety car kind of ruined your chances of the win, or do you think it was going to be a similar result either way?
Yes, absolutely. At the moment that safety cars comes out, I really felt very, very secure, very comfortable. I was very fast in the third sector, so my goal was being behind next turret and maybe the last 2 or 3 laps go for the win, but the safety car comes out, so that's it.
Yeah, it was a shame because the chat and I were looking forward to a duel for the win, is what it looked like it was going to be. But yeah, I think that safety car kind of sort of counterintuitively neutralized things in the end. But nonetheless, a fantastic drive, Triku, and you're on the back of a couple of extremely strong results. Your first win in Monaco last week, and now P2 in Jeddah here. That really could have been another win. But I think the one thing eluding you still is that pole position in your APP career. 7,000th of a second. It must have been gutting when you saw that gap.
Yeah, the pole position is so difficult for me. I don't know how many P2 have done, but I think that it will come. I don't know if this season or maybe the next, but I'm quite confident to one day I could manage to be at the pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you can do it. It's just going to take that one driver not to beat you.
Yeah, but it's so difficult with these drivers, Enchilada, Storek. They are very fast and at every race. So keep pushing.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on another fantastic result, and best of luck for the last 3 rounds. Like I said, the drivers might be out of reach now, but the constructors, you and Cavalis, still very much the dark horses for the title. So keep it up, mate. You got this.
Thank you.
All right, and that is going to be it for today's stream. Thank you all so much for watching and showing your support to the drivers in the chat. It's been a pleasure to commentate on, as usual. So next week we will head to Portugal for a very tricky and very unpopular circuit, unless you're Enchilada, clearly. So we'll see how that one goes next week. 3 rounds to go in this championship and on F1 24 as a whole. So make sure you tune in for those. And we'll see you all next time for more Tier 2. Goodbye.